Hey racing fans, thanks for taking time out of your day to check out the channel. On this episode, I'll be giving my full review of the McLaren GT3 wheel from Fanatec. This wheel can be used on your PC, your PlayStation, or your Xbox. I'm currently using it on my PC and my PlayStation 5. I got this wheel as a Christmas present, so when it showed up I was very happy. When I opened it up, everything was in the box, the packaging was excellent, as can be expected from the other Fanatec products that I have. The buttons feel great, very tactile. When you move the switches, you know instantly that you have moved them. Just a great feeling overall, right out of the box. The shifters are awesome, and as well, the paddles, the black ones, you can release them as slowly or as quickly as you want. It comes with extra cap covers so that you can configure your wheel to your liking. It also comes with hardware so that you can attach your quick release to the wheel to make life easier for when you want to change wheels. And this box has the quick release. But just note that I had to order the quick release separately, which my wife did. Thank you. So it only took less than 5 minutes to attach the quick release to the wheel. Very easy and painless process, but very necessary. So right away, I install this on my PlayStation 5 and I'm checking it out in Gran Turismo. Everything felt awesome. It feels like I'm having a real racing wheel for the first time. Here I'm checking out these red toggle switches that only go up and down, and I'm using them to shift through my weather radar, my traction control, braking, and my optimal lap times. Here I'm using this in F1 2022 to see what it feels like driving a Formula car with a wheel that's a lot closer to a Formula wheel, and I love it right away. And just note that this is on my PC. You can see by the red light there that it's in PC mode. And just for giggles, I decided to see if this wheel can be used in rally racing to see how it would feel. It's cool that you can use the wheel for rally racing, but I wouldn't really suggest it. And also note that the speedometer, for me at this time, first use, wasn't showing speed, it was actually showing my gear shifts. Alright race fans, now that you've had a look at me setting up the wheel, giving it a try on some of the other games, I'm giving my feedback now. So all in all, really love this wheel, been using it for a couple of months. Very happy with it. Definitely is my go-to wheel now. This is what I was using. So let's go through some of the specific points. All buttons on this wheel are mappable, just that this button here is to decide whether you want to use these bottom paddles as your clutch and brake, your clutch and brake, or your brake and your throttle. So you do have that option. And why that is such a cool thing is because if you can't use your legs or don't want to use your legs for whatever reason, there are people who unfortunately aren't able to use their legs, so it allows them to use these paddles as your thrust. Oh, and here it is, I can look up and down. While you're driving, you can use it as your brake and your throttle. So let's give you a little demonstration of how that works. I'll have my feet up here so that you can see. So I'm giving it gas, and then with this one right here, on the brake, right? Let's give it some more gas. Yep, too much gas. So that's a cool feature. I really appreciate that. Hopefully that's being used in real world driving, so those people who don't have access to their legs can get around if they need cars. Alright, next point. This wheel is great for ACC, GT, like Gran Turismo, and F1. I don't love it for rally driving. Because of the wheel's shape, it's good for a reference point when you're in turns. I find that pretty cool. I also love the fact that this wheel is not like your daily driver. The wheel in my Jeep is round, so when I get behind this wheel, it feels like an exotic wheel. When you look at fast cars, exotic, expensive cars, the wheel is more of this shape. So that helps with the immersion, and you know I talk a lot about the immersion on this channel. The toggles have a real nice feel. Everything is well raised, easy to access. You can hear that paddle. You can hear the shifter. You know when you push one of the buttons, you know that you have definitely pushed the button. So that's cool. Like I said, this feels like an expensive wheel, and it is not. So that brings me to my next point, specifically about price. If you're considering getting this wheel, it has been out for a couple of years. I was very fortunate enough to get it as a Christmas present from my wife. But if you were to spend the actual money on it yourself, this is currently on Fanatec's page for 199 euros. So that's 292 Canadian or 212 US. If I was to get another wheel, the ones that caught my eye were the Fanatec V 2.5, and that goes for 369 euros or 572 Canadian or 414 US. Then there's the V2X for 399 euros, 586 Canadian and 425 US. And those have a few more dials, less reason to get off the track back to the garage to make changes to your car. Anytime you can stay on the track, it just saves you time, and you get that feel. You can change that feel right away, get that exact setup that you want while you're driving. So those are reasons why I would consider going to another wheel. But if you just want to get something kind of like entry level cool, you'll definitely be happy with this wheel. This rubber grip is really great, a lot better than this tennis wrap that I had to put here to solve the dislike that I have for this wheel. Love this tennis wrap on this wheel, but this rubber grip right here, that's where it's at for me. Love it. Alright, now let's get to the one big problem that I have with this wheel, and really it's the only problem that I have with this wheel. And if you are somebody that does have this wheel already and you're trying to find a way to get access to your custom setups when you go on a race, I do have a fix. I've been looking around the last couple of days because I found out when I was racing my friend that I couldn't access my custom setup. So I'd be practicing in my custom setup, and then when I go to race him, well, I just didn't have access to that. And so it's quite frustrating because then I'm driving a totally different car. So let's just get into the situation here. I'm just calling up a race. Alright, to show you what I'm talking about when you want to do your custom setup, and this only works on PC. I've tried finding a fix on the PS5 and I don't have one. I did see some other fixes, but it involves downloading software. So I basically created this fix on my own, just by fluke, basically. Okay, so here's the deal. Now you see up there where it says tire select. I'm sure you've been trying to figure out how to access the L2 and L3 button. Right now mine says 8 and 7. That's because in my settings I used F2 and F3. So I'm going to show you, if I hit my F8 button, I have access to it now, to my setup. And I press my RSB button, and now I can come in here and get my aerodynamics, transmission. I can get everything changed up. Okay, I know I was pulling my hair out. I'm sure you are too. But I'll show you how you can do it. And by the way, let me just show you. You can come in here and you can load your setups too, which we weren't having access to, right? So there they all are. Okay, so how do you get this? So if you go to let me get out here. Okay, if you go to settings and you have to get to your settings for your wheel, find your wheel, go to edit. Now you have all these choices here for how you want to assign your buttons. You've got to go keep on going all the way down. And here it is, UDP Action 1 and Action 2. So I made Action 1 my F2 button with the keyboard. This is the cool thing about having a PC. And I made UDP Action 2 my F3 with my keyboard. So very cool. So when you go into the game to race, you just have to hit F2 or F3 and it'll slide over, and then you hit your next button, which was my F8 when I configured it, and there it is. Let me try to, hopefully you can see my keyboard. Okay, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to do this from scratch. Then we'll get it. I'll have to get into a race, I guess, to show you. Okay, so I'm going to unbind. Okay, and unbind that, and I'll just make something else. Okay, so what I want to make it, let's make it F1 and F2. So F1, and the next one is going to be F2. Let's see if I can do it like that. So we get out of here, save it to my control scheme. Come out. Okay, so I'll have to get into a race. Okay, so let's see if I hit F1. Oh. Okay, F8. Alright, so it's, for some reason it's already saved as F8 and F7 for me, so I can switch back and forth by pressing F7 and F8. But I have access to it. I don't know why I didn't unbind it from there. But I know if you're like me, you're, really frustrated that when you get into a race and all of a sudden you have to use this, generic setup and it wasn't working for you. So that's it, basically. So hopefully that helped. Hopefully this video helped you make a decision. If you're looking at getting this wheel, you're going to love it. If you do have more money, definitely you can look at that V2X. I've seen a lot of great reviews about that. So thanks again for watching. Have fun racing, and let me know what you think in the comments. Cheers.